Formula 1 is blindfolded as the teams figure out how to comply and take advantage of the new rules. The teams, the drivers, and even the fans have no idea how the season will turn out. As a result, it's fair to say that we're all blindfolded.
I'm in the dark here! You understand?
Will there be a repeat of 2009 Braun GP style surprise? Or will there be a smooth shift with the current big teams continuing to rule? So here are my blind predictions for the 2022 Formula 1 season. And we're so close to the 1000 mark. Do hit the subscribe so we can reach 1000 before the beginning of the season. Typically, the teams fall into one of these four groups: the leaders, the higher midfield, the lower midfield, and the back markers. Let's begin with the back markers. Haas sacrificed 2021 in order to focus on the 2022 season. They recently cleared the strict monocoque testing conducted by the FIA in late December. This is a significant step forward for the team. They've also experienced a boost in Mick Schumacher's performance towards the end of the season. But with this man in the other car, it's hard to see them do wonders in the new era. Alfa Romeo are heading into 2022 with two new drivers at the team. One of them is a rookie. They've just come off a disappointing year. But what can Bottas do at Alfa Romeo? Certainly a fascinating area to keep an eye on. Aston Martin believe that cloning the 2019 Mercedes may benefit them in 2022. Last season, they appeared to be all over the place.
My feelings were quite emotional. I actually got goosebumps. It was a dream I've been working on for several years, and I saw that dream come true in front of my eyes a few hours ago. So very emotional.
And I'm not convinced that they will be able to compete for podiums and race wins this season. Their most solid team principle is gone. Sebastian Vettel's bad luck seems to follow him almost everywhere he goes. And then there's Lance Stroll, who is terrific on occasion, but those instances are few and far between.
Buongiorno. You're eating?
No, it's okay. I ate chicken. Every chicken.
Pierre and Yuki Tsunoda have been re-signed by Alfa Tauri for the 2022 season. Although Gasly's signing wasn't completely unexpected, Tsunoda is still an unanswered question. Alfa Tauri will need both their drivers to contribute if they want to move up to the higher end of the midfield. Alpine won a race in 2021. It's their first win since 2013, but the new regulations may not change their status as a midfield team. They still might be fighting to be around the top 5 or the top 6. The new regulations may provide Williams an opportunity to take a step ahead, narrow the gap, and potentially crawl out of the bottom half. They don't have a strong driver pair, with Alex Albon returning to F1 after a year's gap, and the second seat is occupied by a bank rather than a driver. But I'm hoping that Williams will return to the top 5. It may be too much to expect, but that's what I'm hoping for. Mercedes has dominated Formula 1 for the past 8 years, and now it's time for a change. This may not sound entirely logical, but it's possible that they might drop out of the top 3. They still have the most powerful engine and possibly one of the best lineups on the grid. Let's see how things develop. Now it's time for the leaders. I'm going with 3 teams at the front: Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari. The Constructors title could be a battle between Ferrari and McLaren because they have the most dynamic and consistent driver lineups. If Ferrari can manage their drivers and the strategy well, they are in it to be leading the way.
Be a cool third. Raikkonen now coming into it. Raikkonen up into second place. Fantastic move from the Finn, and he's trying to fend off Schumacher. Schumacher comes back and retakes second. Well.
It's been a while since we have seen the good old Ferrari and McLaren battles at the front, and I'm so eager to see these two powerheads resume their battle at the front, fighting for race victories, podiums, and championships. What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now let's move on to the driver predictions. I'm gonna do a top 20 ranking for the drivers. 2 obvious contenders for the bottom spot are Nikita Mazepin and Zhou. Mazepin's ability to beat Zhou will be a fascinating battle to watch. Mick Schumacher has great hopes for this year's car. In the not-so-fast 2021 car, he pushed his limits and really impressed everyone with his driving in the later half of 2021. He also has ample talent, having graduated from the Ferrari Driver Academy. Schumacher's upcoming season will be crucial as he attempts to gain points in the hope of attracting attention from the bigger teams. Latifi was indirectly responsible for the outcome of the 2021 championship. During his second year in Formula 1, Latifi showed significant improvement, and in qualifying, he was close to teammate George Russell. He earned his first points by finishing 7th in Hungary, 1 place ahead of Russell, and finished 9th in the Belgian Grand Prix. This season, he will partner former Red Bull driver Alex Albon, who was his F2 teammate at Dams in 2018. Let's see if Latifi can beat Alex Albon.
My God! The Alpine's been great, you know, in those difficult conditions. I had some.
Esteban Ocon feels optimistic about what Alpine can achieve in the future based on the team's progress throughout the 2021 season. While he finished 11th in the standings, just 1 place behind teammate Fernando Alonso, it's mostly because of the 25 points he got in Hungary. Once Alonso got used to the car, he was able to defeat Ocon decisively. This year could be even more difficult for Ocon to beat his teammate. Yuki Tsunoda, more than any other driver on the grid, has a lot riding on his performance in 2022. He can either get a chance at the top team or get replaced by the end of the season. While his attitude has improved, he still has a long way to go to convince the smart people at Red Bull, especially with Honda no longer partnering Red Bull. It will be difficult for him to stay in Formula 1 without a significant improvement on the track.
The car is more powerful, more performant in general. Let's see what that car says.
So, what do you guys think about Vettel's first season at Aston Martin? He finished the season 12th, just ahead of Lance Stroll. With a stronger second driver in the team, Sebastian Vettel could have been beaten. Monaco and Baku were the high points of his season, and the disqualification in Hungary did not help the matters either. Unless something unexpected happens, Vettel may not be able to win races in 2022. Fernando Alonso believes Alpine has the recipe to improve even further this season, taking advantage of the upcoming regulation changes. The 40-year-old Alonso certainly made an impressive comeback to Formula 1 with 334 Grand Prix starts in his career. That has lasted longer than practically everyone else on the grid. Valtteri Bottas has spent most of his Formula 1 career under the shadow of Mercedes teammate Lewis Hamilton, and now he has a fantastic opportunity to show everyone what he is actually capable of. For the first time in his Formula 1 career, Bottas will be taking on the team leader role.
I'm gonna have to give you shit for doing your hair before next game. Thank you, mate. Thank you. My name's Alex Albon, and I'll be a Williams racing driver for 2022.
Alex Albon has taken a year's sabbatical, but he has remained active in the world of Formula 1 as a Red Bull team's reserve driver. Albon spent a lot of time on the role, helping the team prepare their car for the 2022 season, and he believes that his experience in building this year's car will give him an advantage over his competitors. Pierre Gasly is puzzled as to why he was not given a second shot at Red Bull, following a string of strong performances with Alfa Tauri, while his first season with Red Bull was a nightmare, as he couldn't take pressure of driving for a such high-profile team. Ever since he returned to Alfa Tauri, he looked like a real racer who impressed the Red Bull crew once again to give him a chance. He scored podiums, became a race winner, but he still awaits for a chance to get a shot at a top team. 2021 was really impressive, and I'm expecting him to take his form to this season. Let's hope that he will be considered by a leading team, as several drivers are running out of contract by the end of the year. Sergio Perez exceeded Red Bull's expectations in 2021, proving to be the ideal teammate for Max Verstappen. As a result, the Mexican feels optimistic about this year, but it wasn't easy. Red Bull has pushed him to his limit. Can Checo improve his last season's position? I think it will be difficult for him to repeat his 4th place finish from 2021. Daniel Ricciardo grabbed McLaren's first win for almost a decade at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. And this year McLaren and Ricciardo believe there's more to come, but it will be difficult for him to break into the top 5. Carlos Sainz's move from McLaren to Ferrari for the 2021 season was a tense moment, as he was pitted against one of Formula One's most highly rated talents in Charles Leclerc. It's not easy to go against Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel is well aware how it goes. Despite the significantly reduced 3-day testing period, Sainz was undoubtedly the fastest of all the drivers who switched teams. Over the course of the season, Sainz has beaten Charles Leclerc, and by no means it's a small accomplishment. I believe this is the first time that Leclerc was beaten by a teammate in single-seater racing. Not sure about his karting days, but Leclerc was invincible in single-seaters. Anyway, Sainz is the real smooth criminal, quietly making his way up. He might even get his first win in Formula 1 this season. The expectations on George Russell are set to rise as he now joins a top team. There has been a lot of expectation about how talented he is, and now it's time for him to prove what he's capable of. Can he beat Hamilton? And I think he will. It may not be in the initial rounds, but once he gains confidence in the car, he will challenge Lewis, both in the qualifying and in the races. For Charles Leclerc, the last 2 years at Ferrari have been a test of endurance. Ferrari is not an easy team to impress. While the team is heavily disorganized, Leclerc was able to sail through the tough times. If Ferrari were able to build a reasonably fast car, Leclerc will run with it. Without a doubt, Leclerc is one of the fastest drivers on the grid. He can give Verstappen and Hamilton a run for their money. But unfortunately, he had to contend with a rubbish car. One thing he needed to improve was the number of mistakes he makes. If that is taken care of, he could win the championship this year. So those are my most optimistic predictions. Verstappen, Leclerc and Russell to compete for the title in a 3-way fight. The championship would go down to the wire and will be decided in the last round. Leclerc emerging as the 2022 champion. What do you guys say?